very much. Let's start. So first of all, I should say that TVBet, it's a Polish-Ukrainian-based company. So we got headquarters in Warsaw, Poland, with like 400 employees, and half of them are from Poland, half of them from Ukraine. And also we have our roots in Ukraine. So having our marketing and some development team over there. So that's for everyone would be clear that we're also kind of a known and trendy company. And today, let's say globalization, it's quite an interesting topic, because like 10 years ago, I would be speaking differently about it. Still, it was already after jobs, after iPhone, after, the big global things start to move. That's early 2000 or late 90s still was with all these resource guys from oil industry, like from gold, and old school guys, and then techie guys came. Techie guys, I mean technology companies, big companies who now basically I'm pretty happy and positive ruling the world. So we got quite good chances, to save the planet, to do a lot of good things, and still since then, I mean, in 2010, globalization was looking for most of us as under one aspect, under one angle. And now in 2022, globalization still feels and thinks pretty much differently. Because for today, for example, we'll not be speaking about metaverses and all big drastic changes. We won't be speaking about how my lovely example, before the COVID, everybody was saying, I mean, especially old generation, I'm not a techie guy, I never will use, this Zoom stuff, I don't know how to do it. Then COVID came, everybody right away switched off to Zoom. Zoom provided very nice, this Shores luxury background. So people like, oh, nice, I'm somewhere at the beach, side having COVID or on Mars, whatever. So it's again, globalization is also changing and adapting to all the current challenges which we have. Like I said, from a global eco challenges to literally like health challenges like we had. And so that is why for last 2-3 years, we again experiencing the shift in paradigm, and for surely and presumably the new generation, I mean, it's adapting pretty fast. I mean, it's not even adapting. It's like I'm millennial and we were like creating the 90s, and the current generation, which been born in late 90s or 2000, it's now dictating how the current modern world is looking like, what are the priorities, so what they want, what should be like trendy or not. And again, so that's why I mean globalization, it's in a very tight conjunction going with the current generation who said how it should be going. Could we please go to the next slide? Basically, today we will be speaking about at previous slides, please, s'il vous plaît. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Today we will be speaking about simple things. So where are we now? So what's going on in the world, to have a broader picture. So who are today's players if we're touching iGaming, which is already so vast and so enormous industry. So which technologies definitely are here and impacting, dominating, or we see trendy. Again, we will be speaking about crypto. No way at the moment we can emit like a deep blockchain discussion or metaverse discussion, but definitely in iGaming there is no way anymore to make any presentation and and don't say any single word about like what is crypto. I mean, why is crypto here? It's just for the one who is not still aware what and why. Game categories, yeah. We will briefly also touch, I mean, what kind of games are typical online sport betting, casino, global site should be having today, like what is being demanded and what is not. And at the end, I would like to give you a couple of good examples from TVBet, just not like an advertisement, but as a, let's say, continuation. Last week was a great show in Malta, and I was using this exact pitch with various people, various prospects from interestingly, like the previous speech was like from guys from Canada, Netherlands, like Australia, India, and having provided this innovative, let's say, innovative pitch. So I have observed the same reaction. So it doesn't matter from where the people already come in. So if you have like the right product with the right understanding what is needed globally, so more or less it's becoming indifferent for the audience, and let's say different by nation. That if you're Canadian, Australian, or like I said, Indian, so you're taking it the same, because logic and rational behind your like your logic, why you're going to gamble and why people should be going to gamble, it's more or less the same. It's more or less again everywhere, and again it has let's say already, like it has been globalized, if I may say. So yeah, let's switch to the next slide. Where are we now? Very interesting slide. Why I'm just smiling a bit presenting this slide, because it was beginning of this week, or like the last weekend, where the humanity, we hit 8 billion people population. So the citizen number 8 billion, with all unfortunate things like this desperate war in Ukraine and other things which are taking lives. That's now still, globally humanity, it's moving forward fast. So that's why, Earth is getting more dense and dense, and 8 billion people is here. And the next figure, it's 7 billion, this more than a smart or featured phone. So it's not necessarily like smartphone, but I should recall here one important point. It was back to 2014. I was in San Francisco on some digital mobile conference, and that time statistic was like there was 400 million smartphones. Still, Apple was one of the dominating things. Google was just starting, and 400 million smartphones. And at that time, it was like, wow. But already at this year, like 2013, 14, maybe, sorry, it was even like 12. But again, it was not far ago, no more than a decade, 10 years ago. It was said that, 2 billion people will own a smartphone like within the next 2-3 years. And what we see now, it's indeed like, even like my kids, my family, we're having like 6, 7, 8 gadgets. And again, all generations, whether it's mine, older generation, like my parents or kids, everybody already in smartphones, in smart devices. So in parallel, what we observe, it's a really big number of like games, gamification, and how should I say, attractions, which been available already, heavily available. So that's like kids starting playing since 3 years. So, and by, let's say, age of 18 and on, so most of them like more or less already have seen some slots, some other things, even it's for free, because that now even big stores like iStore or Android Market are quite filled with pre-game attractors, which were absent like 10 years ago. So again, it was prohibited by policies. It was quite still not form regulation, global regulation, how to make it. But nowadays, no. You go to any store, market, and you just play, even in your browser. You just type, slots for free or something, and you receive it. So it's not gambling for money, but basically you have this like gambling and casino experience already available, if I may say, like on every corner. Luckily, there are quite a lot of regulation, and it's done, how I say, in a sustainable English way. So it's not like in all these corrupted countries of, again, like, if I may say, where is that, it's ex-CIS or somewhere, India, China, where they say, just give him something more, so let him go and break loose. So no, they're saying, it's enough, it's your limit, you have to be like, maybe help it. And it's very important, because gambling definitely is here, and it was here since, old Greece and, People were gambling all the time. The only question that was, are you doing this in a really social, not respectful, responsible way, or like you're doing in some other barbaric way? And at the moment, yeah, I'm really happy that most of the industries tighten those regulations by ages, by number of groups, categories, to a well-formed formats, so that it's literally limited and controlled, and and have reasonable boundaries which you need. Because again, yeah, I mean, gambling, it's not something which you would say like go and do as much as you want. I mean, it's like drinking. Somebody's drinking, for pleasure, for dinner, for something. But again, we know that, yeah, it can be harmful. So that is why with gambling, it's very important that all globalization and all this like new generation should be well nurtured and always well educated what is gambling and what could be like dangerous inside. Okay, I mean, the rest you have read. I mean, high tech's definitely in the industry. Gamification, as I said, it's already going in every phone. It's clear. One thing we should also not forget: fantasy sport, esport, cyber sport, all those, it's a separate industries. It's not like something to do with iGaming. But for example, fantasy sport, I was observing it going from a 200 million industry in States to a 4 billion industry already. So like esports, all this PUBG and, all games like Counter-Strike, I mean, it's all there. So it's again, it's going for gamification. And we logically observe that like even this soccer games and basketball games, they're now being played as a virtual game. So basically somebody's playing computer game, somebody's making bets on it. The time with like cyber sports, big industry, and still people is making awards which company will win in Dota or wherever. So it's again, all that it's already linked by product to iGaming. So it's again, there are quite also, if I may say, quite also a conversion, if we will be speaking a bit of marketing, conversion of people over there. So it's like, which percentage of a fantasy sport players or cyber sport players are also, well attracted or maybe attracted to iGaming or gambling sites. So it's again, and word is definitely now global with whole operations. So it's again, now if you would take like an average big site in Asia, like TVBet, for example, or in Europe, like or even a crypto like BitStars, more or less they having the similar level of live casino products, sport betting products, and I mean the slots, instant win games, etc., etc. So it's again, more or less, it's already got mixed. Yeah, for sure. Later we'll be speaking. There are some regional specifics, but overall, I would say if I would be switching the language from like Spain to English to Hindu on some big casino, or we see like a global providers who are available in 30 countries. So they provide more or less the same content, and this content is being quite, if I may say, digested by the people equally everywhere. Because everybody likes like evolution, everybody likes like like our TV games. Like again, proportions may be different, but still globally people expecting this, like I said, a gentleman set of games on every top casino. Like, do you have 1,000 slots? Do you have like this number of live providers? Do you have instant games, TV games, etc., etc.? Next slide, please. So it's again what we see. The world is big. Adoption is going heavily. I mean, you can play. You should not forget that you can play casino starting from $1 and it's also very heavy on the countries like we see now on this slide, whereas millennials, like for example China is prohibited. But still, I mean, people finding their way. I mean, still, like India is gray, but they're using VPNs and etc., etc. So people still find their way, especially like here. I mean, crypto in this aspect, it's as well a good and evil. So, because crypto is good by itself, but for example, where I mean it's completely prohibited, crypto can be used, for gambling outside of regulation. I should say, but still here, yeah, as you see, population is growing big. It's like still like not the old ages, it's not correct to say, like in 70s, I mean, last century, I cannot even say, but I would imagine that it was more land-based casinos. So again, starting like what they call the Steve Jobs era, where smartphones and this, like I say, like I'm saying, sexy features and this sexy font is here, so it's really nice to have it. It's really big pleasure, to keep it, to use it, to play, etc., etc. So since then, yes, definitely all the people are going in. And if early days, I would say it was a much more mature audience in gambling. So now with iGaming, again, why we call it iGaming? Because it's online gambling. Again, most of the operations are now shifted online, or let's say, again, we even shouldn't recall the COVID days. I mean, definitely online casino were flourishing. Even we, like TVBet, we were seeing that while everybody sits at home, so people sit at home, need more entertainment, and land-based facilities are closed. So that is why we see that a younger audience, like literally from 18 like to 40, who are, by the way, main GDP generators now, because again, this generation is currently going to generate 70% of global GDP. So basically, if they earn money, they spend money, and the things on which they spend money is becoming popular, as I said. So if they believe that we need to spend more on non-tangible things like, streams, this, again, like online various games versus whatever, including gambling, okay, they're spending money on virtual things, which you can never touch, intangible. And yeah, and it's becoming like trendy. And this is how we can describe the current generation, like what was it like in 2010, 2020, like, yeah, we would say big adoptions of people to mobile. Everybody just sitting, in mobile, and you don't know what you're doing there. Whether you're clicking and gambling, you're reading the news, you're reading the book. So, but one thing you can say that yes, the current generation in future is here. The future will be like there. I mean, just wearing glasses and just doing something like that. But again, it will come. Okay, the next slide, please, because here we just touch a bit of demography, who's playing, who's doing what. Cryptocurrency. Crypto. I'm in crypto since United States government was battling still Bitcoin to try to make it illegal. Now we see that within the decade it has changed completely. Now it's Web 3.0 is going on with blockchain and crypto. Seems like many people think that Web 3.0 and next generation of internet and crypto is the same, when in fact it's not the same, but it's very, very, linked together. And here I would just say, the numbers. I mean, still like 5 years ago, whole crypto was $100 billion. I mean, capitalization of whole crypto. This year, it was, as you can see, almost 3 trillion, and now it's about 1 trillion. But again, it doesn't matter. I mean, for us now, it's not a crypto election. You should read it as by end of this decade, 2030, it will be 15 trillion. And later we will see on the further slides how much, let's say, crypto penetration as a payment already, as an entrance to iGaming, and then the numbers you will see will be quite impressive. And what I'm trying to say that by end of this decade, I cannot say anymore that, for example, gambling will not be more than 50% for crypto, or let's call digital currencies, whatever it will be. I mean, like in Salvador, local digital currency, or it's a Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, Dogecoin. Like recently, I was saying this for years, that as soon as some ecosystem like Dogecoin, everybody knows, just for dogs, some attractions, you mean, from guys like Elon Musk, but still the story is simple. As soon as such an ecosystem has got Dogecoin, $2 billion in it, so there will be everything. Just imagine it's like a nice city. If city is rich enough, it's got everything: own hospital, own casino, own services, own Disneyland, whatever. So because people just, local, they want to spend, they can spend money, and this is how it happens. So basically, if you provide, and it's already been provided, like a pure Dogecoin casino for sure people will play because there's so much money. Some people are saying, if you want me to go like, Bitcoin, Ethereum somewhere to convert, 50% may say, I'm too lazy. No, will not do it. If you will put a gambling thing right in front of them and say, just link your wallet, as simple as that, just play, dodge in, dodge out, you would be impressed. I mean, people just literally going there, even like, you would not say this was a target audience of gamblers, just because, as I said, if it's an attraction, if it's like something what is on my table, which, attracting me, so yeah, I'm just going taking it. So it's simple as that. So people are becoming a bit lazy. So if it's a close proximity, very nice, and also entertain you, they go. Next slide, please. So again, having said that, big crypto casino sites are here. So it's starting from like, again, BitStars, I can recall, from Hub8 or others. I mean, you now can just browse yourself. The number of crypto casinos for last 3 years grew really substantially. And now, as you can see, this is one of the latest statistics. So now you see that number, just unfortunately here, there is no, I just received already year 2022. You can see it here, I can point out, but in horizontal lines. So you would see that 2021, 26% overall was crypto. 2022, year today, already 36%. So it's not like majority. Those guys from whom I was taking this, they, for example, don't assess like an Indian market. It's very hard to assess, but believe me, India, it's let's say fully crypto, not like in this case for gambling, but for operation. So because the rupee, some laws, some enforcement, the local legals are quite slow. So that's why people are leveraging crypto to resolve pay in, pay out things, in gambling. So, and I do hope that like India will go wide, both in crypto and for sure in casinos, because again, if for example crypto will become in wide in India, so that's right away all gambling business will be affected, because the number of crypto there for overall iGaming operation, it's really huge, and number of players you can also imagine, like as I said, land-based China, India, or like Latin America. It's big. If Europe and other countries, like what was said, it was Australia, New Zealand, it's a very low density, by population countries. So that in contrary, countries like well or overpopulated, where we have like 3-4 billion people, if we just sum up like it's India, Asia, it's already almost 3, and then we're at Latam, it's already like 4.5. So because we shouldn't forget, like there is a 1.5 billion of Spanish speaking people. So that's why I always saying, like, guys, you should understand that. I mean, again, also the current generation, they're like, they like the local language. Like our experience in India, that it has to be in English here work, for example, but in China, English is not working anymore. So in China, it has been Chinese. The same with Latin America. So they really prefer Spanish everything, Spanish dealers, Spanish games, Spanish, some, all the things, pertain to their culture, views, and etc. Next slide, please. Yeah, so it's again coming with crypto, new generation paying quite a lot attention. And again, if how I was just saying, like 3 years ago or something, like every fifth American was already aware of Bitcoin. Now you should have a look. Again, we're not here for crypto discussion, but Bitcoin is owned by companies like BlackRock. I mean, the biggest investment firm. So it's again, crypto is going for not only to people, but to corporate, usage, like crypto casinos. I will not tell the names, but generating literally 100 million per month, a single casino can do. And again, what does it says to us? So that's all this like 1 trillion in crypto is being backed by new generation, wherever they are, from IT geeks to stock traders to pilots, wherever. So it's literally there are a lot of categories of people who are currently pretty getting themselves adopted for crypto. And in this case, like we spoke, for example, interesting logic, which I also, I do understand, I do support, like people like to gamble now, for example, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, and Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out, because they say, yeah, we do believe Bitcoin will be again 50,000 and more. So for them, there is no need to go to this euro-dollar conversion anymore. So it's again, crypto gambling and crypto casinos, I would say, especially attract the young generation, not only for, let's say, just it's crypto, it's independent, it will grow by itself, but such a simple logic is also. So if you as a casino understand who's your audience and you provide them like an ability, crypto in, crypto out, and you play, and like now it's crypto winter, but still there was like a little going up. I have seen people like Ethereum was 1,000, then went up to 1.5, and people just said, nice, I was gambling, earned some luckily, and then also it was in Ethereum, and Ethereum grew 1.5 times. It's sort of additional bonuses which are quite tangible and could be an attractor for new generations if they would be deciding why I would not be going and now gamble on the biggest or one of the biggest top crypto casinos. Because also we should say that, as I mentioned before, like 3-4 years ago, it was like BitStarts, it was really few crypto casinos, became right away very top. So social proving, so that if there is a $100 billion in crypto, you will quickly get enough number of players. Only for crypto, offering gambling for crypto. Nowadays, it's ordinary. Almost every casino, a big company which I know, have traditional ways of payments, and they also accept at least Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Yeah. So it's again, this shift in paradigm already happening. And as I said, will be very interesting to see where we will end up by end of this decade. So game categories, you already read, nothing special. The only thing I should say, it's growing. So like, for example, people still like sport betting, especially now, like when it's World Cup is going on. Casinos definitely big popular, especially if they're getting more with land-based casino also like evolving, but they cannot evolve that fast as online. Online casino, literally, with the current, graphics, with the current smartphones, has provided a completely new experience. It's, who knows, like this Book of Ra and all micro gaming games, like for a decade ago, the design and the current design and all this, Batmans and Marvel and branded things. It's quite, it's quite big attractor. And in China, in Asia, I have seen that they like local things, like, this is this famous series from South Korea. You got me, when just people, where killing one another. They literally produced Kalmar game. They produced a slot. They produced games, after the series. Yeah, you got your audience, so you don't get like, everybody switch to it. But you even don't need. You just need for you to have a little of players, little by little. So it's again, everybody just using various attractors. And as I said, online gambling, iGaming, now it's quite close. I would not say that I recall like a slot after Counter-Strike or a PUBG, but I'm pretty sure there are already like cross games which are on a boundary, for example, or like instant win games. You can easily build very popular and trendy things. Build an instant game which is based on one of the most popular games. And here I should recall you that PUBG, for example, a year ago has got 1,200,000,000 active users. And Minecraft here would be the bad example in Roblox, but those games are having more than 100 million of active players. So the question is that what's your age and how mature you are. But basically what I'm saying, if you would look at top 500 games, I was impressed that, the 150 or up to 200 games where the downloads number of downloads, and the number of players is more than 100 million. So which says that how many people are sitting in gamification, I mean in online, and sure, there is quite a percentage who also like, for example, gambling. Next slide, please. TV game, let me just finish with a really quick example. I mean, TV game, you can go check yourself. I mean, the company who just took a niche of TV games. So games where, let's say we have a ball games like a lottery, 6 out of something, 7 out of something balls. We have a card games like poker, blackjack, I mean, something like baccarat. We have like mechanical games like wheel of this $1 million wheel. But for example, why TVBet has got its place, I would not say like 15 years ago, maybe even no one would play. TVBet made created, in fact, that's why we've been nominated many times for a new niche in the industry. We just took, for example, a card game and look at it from the viewpoint of like an event. If you would like a sport betting event, or for example, like a lottery round. So we just took 16 popular game, and number is growing. As I said, it can be lottery games, ball games, card games. We just, let's say the girl is playing with herself. Let's go to the next slide so that it will be a little more obvious. And basically, we just assessing the odds. Could we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you. Like here, for example, we see kind of game what is called baccarat, or let's say punto banca, popular fast game in Asia. And why, for example, TVBet having its success? Because people definitely want to understand that everything is frank and square. So, you know, fair and square, how it says. So that's nobody is cheating. So here, for example, we see the simple game when the girl open 2 cards. Like I said, pretty popular fast game in Asia. So that, and you just guessing the card. So we are just assessing this event from.
Yeah, hi Alex.
Sorry?
We're a little bit running out of time. We have the next
Valeria,
so yeah, if you could just wrap up the presentation and we can...
Sure. So, okay. Yeah, sure. So just let me finish fast than literally 1 minute. So basically the idea here, in classical casino, you would place a bet and you already would wait whether you win or lose. With TVBet, as soon as we're assessing the probabilities and giving like a sport betting market, you could, for example, here you bet on a dealer or for example on a player, and for example you have a 3. Most probably you see you're gonna lose. TVBet, as soon as we're assessing the probability, you have a second chance. You can outbid your 100 euros with 500 and go break even. Believe me, such a small difference. It's so, next slide, please. It's so important for players who like already most probably gonna be losing with a traditional casino. The same like here, for example, with poker. In our poker, you don't play a particular seat. We just recalculate, you know, the probabilities for every seat, every move, every round. And after all, in traditional poker, player just sit, for example, seat number 5 and win or lose, or seat number 4, win or lose. With TVBet, in average, player perform 10 bets. He can start with player 1 and with player 4, but at the end he can, for example, bet that it will be flash. He will see it will be flash or 3 of a kind. So that's why assessing the games from these viewpoints gives you quite a good ability, you know, to change your bets, to make more bets. And how you see it X17, the last thing, you also can combine them as a sport. You're saying, for example, player number 4 will win and it will be 3 of a kind, and you will receive X21 with your bet, for example. So this is why, for example, sport betting players like it a lot. Casino players like it a lot because of my previous example. And this is what I'm saying. It's very important now also to somehow change and adopt, because new generation, they're also given a new, you know, new demands, new expectations. And for example, such a mechanics, they really appreciate mechanics of second chance, mechanics of like betting observer, if you want, if you would like. And yeah, that is why I mean TVBet now like in its own niche, which is called TV games, and you know, we quite doing good in all continents. thank you very much for your attention. Questions, I guess.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Alex.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
And let's get to the questions. So the first
Merci.
question.
And let's get to the question.
Okay, so could you tell anything about crypto in the photo industry?
Okay, so could you tell anything about crypto in the photo industry?
Crypto in which industry? Sorry, hotel?
Yeah, photography.
Yeah, photography.
Photography. I'm not sure how it's related to gambling, but yes, photography. It's a believe me, it's a separate collection of NFT story. So that all digital assets, not only like in photography, not only like in paintings, it's I'm telling you, it's a separate collection where I would tell you what is going on for last 2 years, what is NFT as art, why many photographers are rushing to mark them as NFT. I would give you just a short, example. I just not an example. Created a story saying like two girls are sitting somewhere in 2031 and just chatting one another like, oh, I don't know how all those guys in 2020 back 15 how they were living. It seems like they were producing content and only been worried about that their content not got stolen. So now as a as NFT, as a blockchain and crypto are providing you not a trademark but proof of origin. So it's again now, for example, like in Photoshop, there will be a function where you save your work and it's already on a blockchain, already, market with that it's yours. So that's why I'm saying that probably future generation will be laughing at us, thinking that we were stealing all the day, we were all protecting us from stealing somebody content, or, just, marking up our content with very sophisticated, trademark and other things, plus royalty. You should also understand that even if you sell your like a photograph or somewhere 1,000 times, for even like a $1 and receive 10 cents royalty, you can see it's already a lot of precedent cases where, it's literally little by little. If I see a really nice picture, I'm okay to pay, like for subscription in Netflix, a small amount of money. It's okay because somebody has to earn. Again, here, crypto and blockchain NFT gives a really great opportunity. Just, the photographer sits and ding, some money, ding, some money. So it's again, no more for you hassle. To receive a fair revenue for your work, something like that.
Okay, and what are the risks for operators who offer cryptos for gambling, considering the volatility of cryptos?
What's the risk for operators who offer cryptos for gambling, considering the volatility of cryptos?
Let's say it's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. So I would say most of the operators, as far as I understand, has got the payment providers, and I see almost zero risk. Why? Because it's very few sites with Web 3.0. In fact, we recently built one of the real Web 3.0 casino where you do a gambling transaction and it goes to a blockchain. Most of the crypto casinos work in an old way. You transfer Bitcoin, they just place a number on your account. You place this number, let's say you win, and then you withdraw your money. And again, they send you another transaction of withdraw your money. But what is happening behind this already, I just know I have seen. So most volatile crypto have been right away converted by the same payment partners who allowing you to accept the crypto. They converted to a stable coins like USDT. So it's again, for most of the site, as soon as you receive it, there's thresholds. For example, like all deposit less than $100, you don't convert. As soon as you like have sum up, for example, of $10,000 of cumulative deposit, you convert them in USDT, and basically this is how protects themselves the gambling side. So up to my knowledge and information, they don't gamble. So they don't gamble. Let accept more Bitcoin and keep them. They don't do this. They right away convert it to a stable coin and they do payouts. And the rest for them, it's like a currency discrepancy. So it's like euro-dollar discrepancy. This something what they take. But again, it's gambling, and you should understand that casino still earns money. So that's why this currency discrepancy is not that harmful for them because it's not a milk business, it's a casino business.